Greetings and welcome to the Future Flow Show. I am Omega Sun's Light, Omega Sun 88, and this is the Wealth Chambers Experience. How you doing? How you doing? What is the chatter, Earthly Matter? Are you ready for some great data? We're on the series right now, part two, the final part of Are We Imprisoned by the Cell Phone? On the previous episode, I gave a brief timeline and some of the nuances and personal history of the developing of the cell phone, how it came from the regular phones, the landlines, from the rotary phone to the clamshell phone that everybody fell in love with and have in their house, to actual mobile devices that were prehistoric, the brick, flip phones, stuff that can only hold maybe a certain amount of numbers. The airtime was basically minimal to say the least. 2 hours at a time, things of that nature, and all the way up to the Steve Jobs moment, the phenomenal iPhone. Right now, we've basically traveled light years in a short period of time to the the flagships that we have now. You know, we have uh, pictures and videos of some of the most special things in our lives and special peoples. You know, we have, of course, the phone if you can find it the your bunches of apps, your bucket of apps. You have everything from your personal workout to the virtual assistants to your banking information. If you have a bank, to just a place to find memes. uh, Definitely the social media networks that we have: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Pinterest, whatever your flavor, whatever your pleasures out there. Dating sites, um, even your risque stuff, for your private time. All of that, you know, all on this one device. Some people have two. Some, people just like to juggle those devices, back and forth. But the question at hand is, are you imprisoned by the cell phone? It's funny when I brought this conversation up to a few people, and I asked a question like, from 1 to 10, how many numbers do you remember offhand? And a large amount of them is only about five numbers, and only basically, I say out of say 15 people, that's about 8 people, that knew about five numbers offhand. The majority, I would say the average would be about three or four. So with each of these technological advances, hence the Future Flow show, and our purpose is to have an objective view on how technology affects the social landscape, which is very important. Definitely now, even to the point of your health. There have been cases where they've seen carpal tunnel when people text too much, and they're actually forming their hands to mold a certain way in order to complete these tasks. Um, there's been eye problems, from late night visualization of the phone. I wouldn't say so much of the radiation stuff like that. There's radiation all over the place. We're bombarded by radiation. And a new thing that I've seen in the medical journal was that a lot of many millennials, I didn't say a lot, many millennials are actually growing some type of bone in the back of their neck. It's almost like a stem between the skull and the neck area, and that's something to look at. Cause it's part of the evolutionary stages of an adaptation. You know, We always have to understand that we're organic beings, dealing in these physical realities, and we're taking things into our environment, that can change the course and the trajectory of where what we're able to do, and what we'll stop doing. And that's one of the things, because we've been awarded the convenience of having all of this information stored. We're actually we're actually taking away parts of our memory, being able to respond quick on certain information, like this phone numbers, like certain trivia information, facts that we used to know like right offhand. We'll basically just Google it out. Go into your local search engine and try to find it there. So also the information that can be accessed and basically talked and discussed is imprisoned in the cell phone as well. And then there's the flow of information that we have to take heed to. Just like the flow of media, not all of it is objective enough for you to get your own opinion and sort out through just the data without having a personal slight from the person that's delivering that message. And that's important, you know, uh, definitely in the scope of trying to form your own opinion and be able to convey that message to other people just to get the facts. It takes a lot of patience and discernment, definitely. So, with that in mind, the memorization and the power of judging what information is good and what information is uh, not usable, it becomes you know something of a puzzle, because you have a lot of people that know that certain words trigger, clickbait. Certain images just flashed in front of a person can do a lot of things to them. And you know, the the newest thing is to trigger a response. And once you get that response, you draw a view, and voila, it becomes part of your grouping, you're part of your programming. Then you can agree to disagree. And then there's the trolls that come in that just disagree with everything and try to find nitpick flaws and just do all the most dastardly, unethical things. To the imagination. Just leave it up to the imagination. So that's very, unfortunate for people that really want to, have good content and good information in order to build great content. It becomes a hassle weeding through all of the madness, you know, especially in those fields where your scholarship and your research is very important to make your point, or to teach others. Recently, because of the quarantine stay in place policies that are set right now due to the pandemic, the schools had to try to find the greatest video conferencing um, software program to use, because there are certain programs that have been out there for the longest time that, even though when used properly, are great tools and definitely can broaden the global network and broaden your social network and things like that. Um, they also become breeding grounds for trolls and hackers and just bad actors that want to, you know, get information to do nefarious things, and just mess up a whole program, even just to do some of the silliest stuff. It slows down the progress of the grouping that they're trying to teach, the people that they're trying to connect with and network with. It does a disservice. And now is, affecting the youth that need this education, regardless if they're going to be home or not. You know, they still need a body of information and a study plans, and the internet and connecting with their teacher via video conferencing, whatever, Skype, Zoom, what have you. It's it becomes compromised, and that's not fair. Now back to the mobile phone thing. I was looking into what they would call a gray man. A gray man is a person that is able to blend in with the rest of society, basically crowds and groups, and not be uh, um, like a sore thumb, you know, not sticking out like a sore thumb, you know, um, basically invisible amongst the public. And this is key when it comes time to move a certain way. You have to relocate. Something may happen, and you may have a critical situation going on that you may have to leave some things behind. Can you afford to leave your phone behind? Bear with me. Think about it. First of all, your phone costs. Chances are you paid anything upwards from 300, 500, 600 is usually the average price, for a good flagship. But now we're into the thousands, and some of us that are, a little more affluent or just able to have that access, $1,500 phones, you know. But that's not actually where the the expense is. It's not actually where the value is. That's just part of it. So you don't want to get rid of the actual device. But what's in the device? Very important. It may be very important to you. Like I said, you don't remember groups and numbers like that, so chances are you'll keep them on the cloud. Okay. Hope you have a computer to get to and you're able to remember your password in order to get to the cloud. But let's say you got that under control. That's good. Have you been updating your pictures? Saving them to the cloud, or are you saving them to your personal computers? Have you been printing them out? In the days we used to have photo albums, and many of us still do. And this was kind of a way to, collect those memories and put those moments together. And people would sit at the table and go through the pictures, during a holiday time or during some type of break, and just go through it and remember those times, and bring up all those moments in their lives. That's something to consider. If you have great special moments in your phone, you want to try to get those printed out, or if not printed out, definitely get them on flash drives. Flash drives, memory cards, the SD cards. Now they're up to um, I saw 400 gigabyte, saw 512 gigabyte, even a terabyte. Wow. If you fully load a terabyte SD card, you're on this. I mean, like you're out there. But there are people that actually are photographers off of their phone. Another trade that basically has, I wouldn't say diminished, but it's more of a, if you're professional in it, you will have a longer chance, a long standing, a higher status in that field, because you know of the apertures and the low lighting, highlighting, and contrast, positioning and shadowing and stuff like that. You're able to navigate that field of interest because you're interested in it and you're sufficient at understanding the terms and applying them. But now the camera phones, phone cameras, whatever you want to say, now they have these, uh, uh, um, now they have these qualities right from automatic. Like as soon as you pick the camera up, it's user ready, it's user friendly, and you can make high quality shots just off the rip, and all it takes is the right shot now, and you can actually make a pretty penny. So it's also a career in your phone. Back to the gray man. If a situation was to come when you had to, for some reason, flee the scene, um, I want to say a disaster hits or anything like that, forbid that. But it's a situation where you have to get rid of the stuff that you have. Are you too invested to ditch it? Can you pop out the memory card, the SIM card, and keep it rolling? Do you have that option? Do, do you have what it takes to separate from this device? With all the things that you have inside and consider that you took care of it, do you even have the wherewithal to just put it down and keep it moving? Maybe as a distraction, maybe as just just use your imagination, especially in this world of information chaos and a lot of spy versus spy games with regular people. It's interesting. So, are we too invested at times? Some of us put our whole conversations, our deepest thoughts, in the voice recorders. Never to be heard by anybody. Hmm? Some of us go straight into their live if they have a channel or whatever. Live streaming. They say they have that audience, and they visit their friends. They visit their audience, going live on their phones, and it's important to them. It becomes like a friend itself. Imprisoned in the square, in the box, in the rectangle, the tube. They invest their time, they poured their emotions out, they pleaded their case, they've given information, they've collected with people that understand them just as well. They formed alliances, they made debates, made videos just for fun, made videos to shock, all invested in this one device. Yeah, there's a lot of mm, contemplation behind this, because as we move on to the next steps of the future flow, the plan is not just to keep it in the device, but also embed it in yourself. Oh, easy, easy, easy. I've seen. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Not like that yet. It's going to take a while, especially to make this the software and the technology that so sophisticated that it seamlessly is in your actual body, or in you know your responses, like you blink an eye with contacts and you're able to see a spreadsheet. It's going to take a while, okay, but it's right around the corner. I mean, as far as the concept art and the actual logistics is taking place. So much you can do, and it's all about taking the the concept world and bring it into reality, and that's what the evolution of the cell phone was basically all about. People dreamed of having their smartphone experiences on their watch. How long? What, 50s and 60s was Dick Tracy. Yeah, the comic. And the first thing he did, he had the phone, and he had the screen and the phone in his watch. Fast forward to what we have now. Um, got the iPhone watch, the Galaxy watch, all these other subgroups, the Android watch that could connect with different Android phones. The reality is here. You have Tesla, Elon Musk, the Tesla CEO, um, working on the Neuralink technology, which is great in some respects. And if you listen to some of the lectures he's been in and interviews, and if you read some of the articles, he's abreast of what the curve of technology is in its trajectory where it's going. He's definitely on point with that. And the Neuralink is so innovative, and it can actually bring back a new quality of life to like amputees that have prosthetic limbs. And they put the smart chip in the limb and have the Neuralink set up where it collects the thought to have the prosthetic move, and it moves on, freely. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing innovation, amazing imagination, amazing engineering work. I mean, but for good stuff like that, good events like that, what's the trade off? What's the nefarious, evil genius side of it? You know, that's always a thought as well. And that's why we have to take heed. And this is what we plan on doing with Future Flow. We want to see both sides of the coin. So, basically like a check and balance. This stuff is good in a way. We've connected with people all across the globe, different cultures, different communities, connected them with ideas, connected them as families, just as humane people trying to get, objective information from each side. And that's very important. And business sees that as well. That's why I mentioned yesterday the nomadic global businessman, the nomadic corporate worker. It's going to break governments into basically electronic jurisdictions. What will be the new laws and policies? What is the international law in in the internet? There's different stages of the game that's being played right now. And if we are ever approached by, I want to say more intelligent beings, but beings outside of what we consider the Earth plane, this universe, aka aliens. If you ever want to think there's life out there like that, what do we call ourselves collectively? You know, because you have to represent where you're from, and if your representative sends off the wrong message, it dooms those that they represent, or puts them in a precarious situation. I won't say doom, okay? Yeah. It puts them in an awkward situation. How do you express your intergalactic sovereignty? Is that such a word? Intergalactic sovereignty. And you can't get sovereignty right here. It's a lot to consider. And okay, I'm gonna bring it all the way back. Say, what do you mean? How does this all figure out me being imprisoned by my cell phone? Well, where does most of your information come from? How do you fact check what I just talked to you about? You're gonna go to Google or Bing or Yahoo. You're gonna go to a search engine. You ever had a conversation with somebody and you thought about, you know what? I seen that shirt at Macy's the other day, and I think I'm gonna go and get one. And you finish the conversation, you two walk away. Next thing you know, you see sales on the shirt, not just from Macy's, but from dealers. What happened in that exchange? How did that come about? Is your phone listening to you? You didn't type it in the search, have you? Interesting. So what are the laws? What are going to be the 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 parameters? Where's the boundaries? When do we say no? This is not going to have just because I think or I see a conversation. I don't want it on my screen. Be careful with the apps that we. And there's so many apps for so many. Um, there's usually a third party agreement that you gotta avoid all those. Try to avoid all those because you only want a certain amount of people to have your information. Usually just for the app that you need at the time. So being imprisoned by your phone, you're giving up missions. And contract, you really don't know what that law is supposed to go through. And a lawyer, you sign on one of these websites or apps. The things to consider. I mean, in reality, in the life and the physical reality we have, there's on the book that one lawyer couldn't take you through all of it. One bill, tap. Where does mental health lie in your connection with your phone? Do you treat your phone as a security blanket? Does it ever leave your side? Do you have a decompression time? When was the last time you turned it all the way off? How long did you keep it off? I'm just here to present the questions. I would like to have a discussion about it. If you would like to, I'd like to as well. You can get in touch with me. I will leave my email in the description of the video, or you can leave a comment. That would be even more appreciated. In the end of at the bottom of the video, you see it on the YouTube. You know, and we're going to talk about that. These are ways to connect, getting your thoughts out, expressing your ideas. You can go through the rough draft of it. There's nothing perfect. People that go through a lot of these lectures and videos. I seek a lot of perfection. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't say this, or maybe if I say it this way, I get more people involved and stuff like that. Just say what you need to say if you have something to say, and I'm sure you do. And if it's important to you, it may be important to tens of thousands, even a million more. They just need to see it. All right? Future flow. And that's how we go. I thank you. I appreciate you for watching this all the way through. Also, for the people on the Android app, I appreciate you as well. Thank you for going through the material. I'm open to criticisms, um, suggestions, comments. Just want to see you out there. Some good feedback. It's very important. And I bid you and yours peace, wellness, oneness.